What's up, guys? It's Black and back with part 5 of RAGL In review. This time I have my matches against Milkman. He has picked Overlook for his map pick. I banned Tank Trap just because that last game with Cav kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And, he picks a great map that I don't actually like either too much. That one game against Yano, I did manage to win, but I just felt very icky about it. And was very happy that nobody else had picked Overlook against me. So, unfortunately, Milkman does pick it. I'm more than capable of playing on this map, but it's just not my favorite, I should say. And I got allies anyways, so my fear of Soviets being worse on this map isn't going to come into play. I'm going to go into double ref build with a ref cell this time. No quick tank on this one. Doesn't really suit this map to have the quick tank build. Your ore is kind of far away, and then your expansions are kind of far after that, so just due to the size of this map too, if you do the quick tank build, you're not going to have a whole lot of early pressure just because it's going to take a lot longer for your army to get there. The main base is pretty protected too, so your attack spots are going to be limited. So I don't think it plays too well on this map. It's one of those rare times where a map really can decide what build orders you can do. And on this map in particular, quick tank build not so good. I think War Factory first could be pretty good since you do have the gem mine to back up when you're on a very tight ore budget. But at the same time, double ref is always really solid. The double ref with the ref cell is something I like doing because you get that 2 extra light tanks, or rather the 1 extra light tank rather than a ranger. So that could be good and kind of supplant an early army push too, but not so much that you're committed like a Ulu with the quick tank build. Unfortunately, Milkman does spot my medic there. That's unfortunate, but I got 2 more rifles coming. He probably get a 3rd rifle, but barely looks like I saved it there. That does cause me to stall a little bit, but it is what it is. Just going to try to push his oiled arrow derrick, since, very likely people are going to defend it, but Milkman's actually defended it, and I had to back out there. I took a lot of losses already. But, I tried. He was defended it. It happens. Better to lose a little bit and retreat rather than fully commit there, do that sunk cost fallacy and lose all your soldiers. That's a quick way to have the game spiral out of control. And now Milkman is sensing that advantage since he killed some of my guys, and he's going to try to do the same thing to me. But again, he has to be very careful not to do what I just did. And I'm in a decent position here, and once he starts to commit, that's when I want to go in. And he is doing something really smart, sending that 1 rifle to go over, and, again, I'm losing more of my soldiers since he's smartly not targeting the derrick, so he's actually doing a pretty good engagement here. But he's going to keep trying to push, and, I'm going to use that vision advantage of that oil derrick too, best I possibly can. Got my War Factory finally out now. I already sold that ref off, so, I got that extra 6 seconds. I'm going to go into a Harvester. Light tank probably be a little bit more advisable. You get that extra seconds there. Barely did not get his engineer. That was unfortunate for me. So I have basically lost all 3 early engagements, but I'm not super worried about that. Milkman he's a weirdly aggressive player. He really likes to tank flanks, but not so much like bringing an army with him. So he'll kind of commits too hard to the tank flanks, honestly. He'll try to do it like 3 or 4 times, which, if you have the excess tanks, sure. But he tends to do it when he's down way too many tanks. And, it's important to keep your tank numbers up. They are the lifeblood of your army. As soon as they are gone, your army is pretty much forfeit, except for very few instances, but got my first light tank out. The Harvester is on gem mine, so my income is going to skyrocket in just a second, and I'm just now getting my comm center, which is kind of crazy that it's 3 minutes in and I haven't got it yet. I mean, comm center, again, it doesn't serve too much on this map, just is like a really nice little warning detection, but once again, going super heavy in rockets just because I'm expecting vehicles. I don't really need too many rifles with 2 double light tank. If I can keep those light tanks alive, then I'll be totally fine. Rifles wouldn't scare me. Even, a standard army of, 4 rockets plus your starting infantry is not too scary for 2 light tanks. You're going to lose 1 for sure, but generally with the crushes, you'll be able to either crush all the rockets and then you can crush all the rifles, or you'll crush enough rockets that you can just retreat out and let what little rifles you have deal with them, or just take the win there. Harvester was a little bit misrallied, but that's okay. And yep, just trying to figure out what I want to do next. Obviously, I'm going to go to the south since that's where my War Factory is, but again, I think it would be better to go the opposite way with how I place that concrete wall. But Milkman has a lot of scouts here, and unfortunately that rifle is targeting my rifle, so I have to back him out. And Milkman's got a lot of rifle scouts out, so I'm going to do my best to clean those up. That's always going to make somebody paranoid if I can kill him. And he's going to get a notice that I did have an army there since there was rockets, and it's generally a good sign that there's an army or something worth protecting anyways. Nobody except for Not New sends out a single rocket as a scout, and I'm not sure why he does that, if it's a misclick and he's just trying to get a rifle scout, or if he's trying to catch a medium tank flank or something like that. I mean, if that is the case, not new, and you're watching this, don't send one rocket. That's one rocket will not be the tank. There's even angles where the tank can outrange the rocket without getting shot at. So send at least 2 if you want to kill a tank. And you know, if it's a heavy tank, you probably should send 3 or 4 because rockets will quickly die. But it's just a little tip for you. So I got my army out here. I'm basically just screening because I know I'm going to want to move to that single ore patch. Kind of learned my lesson with Indiana. And, you know, you need to expand a little bit more quickly than I'd like here. So I'm going to place that ref down. You know, get up to 7 racks. So you're just going to safely do that. And then I'm going to expand down and build another ref in that ore patch. That'll stabilize Mako for a long time. And, you know, if something terrible happens, kind of like it did with Indiana, then I'll be in a much better economic front rather than trying to have to tech and get out with some fancy chronosphere play. And of course, I did miss Milkman Scout there, or he sent another one, so he feeds my MCV, that's totally fine. You know, I've got this army kind of screening for it anyways, so if he does want to attack there, then I'll have a lot of army, and unfortunately he finds my engineer there too with another rifle scout. So he's been really good on the rifle scouts, but I'm always ambivalent about them. I feel like they give you a false sense of security. They die so quickly that, you know, you can have them out there and then they die and then you don't know if they're actually sending an army there or if it was just a ranger or something that picks it off, unless you're like really on top of it and you see them when they die. So they can definitely be a little bit misleading. I've really deathballed really hard now since Milkman is just now attacking me on the bottom, and I said, okay, that's fine. He's got a lot of rockets there, but you know, I got enough, and unfortunately for him, his move command is just on the wrong side of those boxes, and I get a lot of his rockets already. And a few more streaming in, so you know, if I can deal with these 2 heavy tanks, which it's going to be very costly, but I think I can. There's 1 rocket, 3 rockets left there. His army is just going to be forfeit. You know, that MCV is going to get away, since MCVs can typically get away from heavies pretty easily, so just going to have to move that MC back a little bit. You know, that ref's going to be on hold for a little while, but that's okay. 2 more rockets left, and I got another medium tank come in, so you know, I should be pretty fine. I need to probably switch back to rifles there, but Milkman, seeing that he lost pretty much all his rockets, decides to switch back. Meanwhile, this attack on the top is going pretty good. Just really lucky that I got into like a decent angle of attack there as I got there. That could have been much worse if it was like Congo lining right into him, but got lucky there. Pretty much clean sweep up top. And I gonna, instead of moving the MC all the way back, I'm just gonna place another ref on my double ore patch. There's enough ore there that'll be worth it. And you know, once I'm finished clearing this, I'm gonna kill the MC obviously, since I still have plenty of army there. Get that medium tank on the move so it doesn't take too much extra fire on that flame tower, and then I'll just move that MC back down to the bottom again, build another ref, and I should be up to, you know, a really good eco then. I might have to transfer harvest a little bit sooner on that back patch, but it's really fine. And again, I'm just going to keep that MC in the middle. You know, I don't really need the build radius onto that ore patch until I build a ref there. I just really want to clog up that middle. So I think that's kind of what I did at the instant. I really like that. So I have another army there again, and this army in the top. You know, the tanks are pretty damaged, so I'm just going to send them all back, and I'll send the infantry back to protect my other ore side there. And maybe work on capturing that other single ore mine if I quickly expand there. But, you know, better just not to lose medium tanks if you can. I think that army did enough damage, and I just want to save it rather than constantly press and lose it. That's another great way to lose an advantage, is if you press too far, too often. You know, sometimes it's better just to bleed them out a little bit, contain them. I call that like the smothering technique. That's something some players are like Anju, you know, more passive. When he is passive, that's what he's trying to do. And there goes the tank flank from Milkman, right through the gut. You know, luckily I saw it, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But, you know, heavy tanks can be a problem, but, you know, I got a medium tank coming in to the rally point of the ST anyways. So that should be able to take care of that heavy tank. And I got a pretty big army on the bottom. So army in the top soon going to have some medium tanks so they can start pushing again. But, yeah, I'm not sure Milkman can really stop that army in the bottom. I don't know where his army was, if he was expecting an attack on the top, but there's another tank flank on Milkman from the bottom. So, again, that's 2 heavy tanks at, you know, minute 9 when he's already lost a few from the last battle. He goes then GG's out. I think that was his last min's fee anyway, so pretty quick game there for me. You know, Milkman, it's his first season in Masters, so he probably had a rough season. He's the new kid on the block and got bullied around a little bit, but there's always game 2. Alright, we are back here for game 2. This time I ran it into Snap, which is a pretty old map. It was from my Mac plaque, which is like over a year ago, I think, which is kind of crazy. Largely influenced by like Shadowfiend 2 with the 5 old Erics. And the extra ore mine for a 4th ore patch on your starting base is kind of reminiscent of traps, since you could very easily just move in MCV like one cell and call there. You don't see a whole lot of maps like that. Cal level's another like 3 or mine start, or 3 or patch start rather. And I mean, this one's technically not a true one since you can't quite reach it. You need to move your MCV just a little bit or have like a kind of worse place ref, but generally where the influence came from this map. It's been so long since I'd played this map or seen this map that I kind of forgot about it. I know for some reason Happy liked to pick this map a lot this season. It's a fairly big map, wide flanks, so Soviets are gonna kind of suck on this. But Happy for some reason really liked it. I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe he did appreciate the Shadow Fiend 2 influence there, since it's more of like when he was in his prime. Although I think Happy nowadays is actually probably a better player than he was before, so kind of weird to consider that. It looks like Milkman and I are both going toward that center Derek, no reason not to. Unfortunately for him, I'm Soviets and I'm going to have Dog, so Dogs are always nice for these early contestable oil battles. In this case, since the order is pretty far away, I was able to get that ref down first, which is going to help stabilize my eco a little bit. The 6 seconds you lose for the kennel can easily be replaced after you do a double ref cell or something like that, so make sure that Dog is in the back corner of my infantry, and then all that effort I spent is just instantly undone, and then instantly undone again. So Dogs can be a little annoying to handle like that. You definitely don't want it in the center of sub-cell. If he force fires and he happens to hit your dog, then it'll instantly die. But fortunately I'm going to go away with it here. Milkman, lovely that he cleared out the barrels for me, and he's not going to be able to contest with that dog, and he looks like he didn't have too much there. I see much more of his army there, and he's going to try to push in, and yeah, that dog is in a great position. And he loses a bunch of rifles there for pretty much free, so that's a great early win for me. And he loses one more just try to kind of snipe around that infantry, so yeah, that's about as good of an early game as you can hope for. This rifle down there hasn't even spotted anything, so probably generally pretty safe to just send an engineer. There's always a chance that I run into his random rifles, and that's a risk I'm willing to take. I've got 2 oil derricks, that's pretty much what I'd expect to get in the early game here. Gonna do the double ref cell because again, I went with the kennel, so I'm going to get that time back, do the double ref cell. Going to go with the flak first, and that'll help me get that flak out just, that 6 seconds faster, or maybe about even now. Fortunately, Milkman did have a few rifles there, but that one scouting rifle did see him, so that's fine. I'll just have to wait for the flak to get there. Hopefully his engineer's with him, and then I can kill that too. At the same time, I'll have that other rifle scout from the ref cell going up to the top of Derek, so if he's there too with that engineer, then chances are he's going to be alone, or maybe with a rifle or two. Be very dicey, but you can win with the 2 technicians, especially if they get shot at first. At the same time, I just routed all my infantry down towards the middle, because again, if he's going to have a light tank push, it's going to be towards the middle. Very doubtful he'd go to the corner. I'm just starting my infantry queue up. See that he did capture the oil derrick, so that's unfortunate a little bit, and his engineer is going to get away briefly, but those 2 rifles pretty much tell me exactly where that engineer is. Got my 3rd ref on that last mine there, which is great. You should be very careful sitting next to that oil barrel. I think his rifle, had he been paid attention to, probably could have microed away. Unfortunately, my flak is going to get hunted down there. I think just the rifle number damage that he had to it was enough to kill it, so that engineer's kind of in the middle of no man's land. That's alright. At the very least, I know I'm up at least 1 oil derrick from, since he probably didn't go to his side one first. Unless he went double engineer, which is a possibility, but I think with the number of rifles I killed, that seems unlikely. So just going to pump out another flak truck, and I was a little slow on my build order, so I was basically able to get out a 3rd flak truck, and that'll help me secure that oil derrick in the bottom. SD is going to come out, and again, that's 4 seconds slower on the MC that I have to wait. That's not a big deal at all. Maybe a little bit slow overall. Probably be coming out at 4:30 instead of 4:20 on the MCV, but that's okay. Just gotta focus on these harvesters a little bit since they do like to mine it inefficiently. Got a rifle down there this time, so if his flak comes to the top, I should be able to see it, and my other flak down there should be able to beat his flak unless he sends it back to the SD. So if that's the case, it'll be whoever has like the first target fire between them, which is the same with any vehicle or any unit if it's the same. But I did decide I wanted to throttle that 4th ORA patch, and that was a little bit influenced by the slow start there. I think I even canceled my NC at one point, so unfortunately I was not paid attention, and he kills that engineer. But this time at least I'm going to get his flak, since it's not going to be able to run away by the time I kill it, so that's a small little win there. I didn't lose anything by losing that engineer, technically. It had done its job, but it'd been nice to go up to 3-1. And see another ref scout there. That flak's going to poke at it. that oil there because I've never taken over there, so I built an engineer because why not? You know, it's very dangerous to constantly build engineers like that, but I think I was fine in this scenario. I'm also just staging up for an attack on his double mine because, you know, where else are you going to expand unless you're doing something really weird, which is basically what I've done. And I guess I accidentally sent that engineer down to the bottom again, which is probably going to get it killed. I should have just sent it to the top like I think I meant to, but sometimes you just make mistakes, and as you can see, that engineer luckily paid as a very expensive scout and saw that there was an army there, or at least more than a few rifles. This dog is gonna do his best to snack on some rifles, and he was not paying attention, so the dog got all of them, which is nice to see. This attack on the same time is pretty well undetected, and I'm more than happy that I know that I'm killing a few officers there. And finally, his army's showing up, which is not great because my heavy tank is rather very far in the back. I'm gonna have to sacrifice that flak just to get some armor in the front. Just now getting that heavy tank in front, but you know, I'm still trading out okay there. You know, losing 2 harvesters that he did was pretty bad. My army's still managing to whittle away there, so that works out well. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to scout, make sure that was his full army. There's a good chance that that wasn't all of his army, that was just kind of his refilling queue. So I'm not sure where his army is at this point, so I'm hesitant to attack again. Definitely need to start transferring the harvesters, which I'm finally on. And I just want to make sure I get that ore sent first before I send them back, just because, again, you don't want to transfer all that wasted money, just taking 15 seconds to go across. I'm finally going to move out that, or rather build a second NCV, and it's going to go to my double mine, which is super late, and that's probably kind of why I'm struggling. I never even placed a 4th ref down on my main base too, so that's not great either. Got that MCV finally out, and it's, you know, it's going to be safe. I got a flak over there, so chances are it should be alright. I saw that his army was trying to poke on the bottom right there, so I sent everything there just in case he's trying to do a long flank, but I have to be wary that he has a second army coming up from the mini C, which would be pretty bad. You know, if I do lose that, then I do have that ore patch that I still haven't built on that I probably should have a long time ago, but it's okay. You know, I'm doing alright. Flak does see that there's a heavy tank there, but I'm not sure if it's the whole army. He was decapping that oil derrick in the middle too, which I finally missed. Unfortunately for him, he left that army just kind of waiting there, and it got hunted down, which is always dangerous. If your army, if you know it's been revealed, has been seen, then keeping it there is obviously a great way to lose it. See that he has a heavy tank there on the flank. And again, he's heavy on the tank flank, so I'm just going to move that MC away since I don't have anything to protect it. You know, I got to focus on protecting my main base first, which is where all my army build queue is from. Save the harvester, got down to half health, which is kind of a testament to how dangerous heavy tanks can be. And now I'm pushing in on his double mine expansion, but I have 4 heavy tanks and, you know, a lot of infantry versus very little of his, so I'm going to clean up there pretty easily. Only lose 1 tank, which is nice. And, he's not attacking me on anywhere else, so that's kind of crazy. There's another tank flank still sitting on the ore, that's alright. Doesn't move that MCV away, so he loses that, which is not great either. You know, he's going to lose another heavy tank there, so I know his army's got to be somewhere, since it's not in the bottom, it's not on the top. I'm starting to see a little bit coming through the top, or the bottom right there, but I'm just not so sure. And I'm going to get this harvester and then kill this ref, because I always should kill the ref. Bad man there, but that's alright. This army is now trapped. I'm going to have to trade it away, but again, maybe if I can keep whittling down his forces, then I'll be alright. I know I've killed a lot of his tanks since he's on his tank flanks and everything, but I'm definitely losing a lot of just army value in that, so it's very dangerous. You know, as Soviets, the more tanks you lose, even against other Soviet players, is always pretty bad. Having 1 tank now at mid and 9 is kind of crazy for me. Milkman's probably not too much better, honestly, since he lost a few of those tank flanks, but I'm really heavy on the flank towers since that's basically what I've done. And finally got into harvester transferred over that double ore mine, so my eco is still pretty good. I'm gonna build another engineer because why not? You know, we're 10 minutes into this game, but I haven't forgot about the oil derricks. It's the American in me. You gotta respect the oil. But I think I'm finally up to 7 racks, maybe even over a little bit. I'm gonna have to sell something here, just not sure what I want to sell. Probably should sell Flame Tower, especially the ones, you know, so there we go. That's the one I wanted to sell. And just built 2 power plants because, you know, might as well save myself extra time. Just kidding, I built one. And then I'm gonna go into full war factor because why not? Because I know I need tanks. You know, it's 10 minutes in, I have 2 tanks left. Milk has 2 tanks there, so yeah, if Milk was in a little bit of a position, you know, he might be able to swing that, and he had 3 tanks there, so he's actually probably ahead in tank count, which is actually kind of crazy. And the engineer just captured that over there just to let me know that there was another army coming up there, so engineers being very expensive scouts, but very good scouts this game for me. And, you know, tit for tat, he kills my oil derrick, I'll kill his oil derrick. Should be very careful, because I'm right next to a bunch of barrels, and if they explode, then again, so much army waste just from barrels. But luckily the barrel explosion does not reach that far from the oil derrick, so would not be surprised if a fly could trigger that oil derrick, or oil barrel, if it had that much health left, but see that he has got a flame power there, which is likely means he has a ref there too, so it looks like he's going to try to attack there since he has a heavy tank, but he's in a pretty bad position. He's getting canalized by that cliff. So I'm really happy to engage into him there. Just clean up that army. You know, I barely lost anything except for, I think, 1 heavy tank. And I finally seen an attack on my back flank. That's a pretty deep flank. He's going to get a lot of value there, but at the same time, he's just been out of position for so long with that army. So he's going to kill the ref, you kill the harvesters. I'm going to rotate 1 army back. He might kill my SD if I'm not careful, so... And he is going to put me low power, which is kind of bad. But, you know, counterattacking him at the same time is probably going to relieve some of that pressure. Milkman is not a very fast player, which is kind of unfortunate for him, so, you know, that army, had it kept pressing in, probably could have maybe got that SD, but by now, my other army's back there. And again, with the tank flanks on the top, you know, I'm not super worried about it. Again, I have 2 flame towers there, and I got another barracks rally over there, so I'm not going to lose a harvester unless I'm really unlucky. There's 1 flank on the back. I don't know where it decided to go. I assume it's either going to the top or to the bottom right. And since my infantry queue is already on the left, I'll send my army to the bottom right. I'm just going to pull a cab and quickly re-expand back to where he's killed my backline ref. And there his army is on the right side, so he did go down. I'm going to take kind of a crappy engagement there just because my tank was in the back, but that's alright. Finally clean it up, so I should be pretty good. And now I'm up to 2 war factor, about to up to 3 war factor, and then 4 war factor rather shortly. This engineer has finally captured that oil derrick. That one has been coveted this entire game by me. So once again, I am up 2-1 oil derricks, which is nice. But, you know, oil derricks aren't going to win you a game necessarily unless there's like Bossman where there's 6 of them or 3 per side. See, there's a little detachment of infantry up there, and you know they're not shooting anything, so I'm not super worried. Just send a few rifles to kill with them, and there should be more than enough. 1 rocket just in case, and then that just happened to be there. Honestly, probably wouldn't send anything. So spy plane, so he's at tier 2, so that's a good transition for him. I'm committed to doing a war factory build. I just want more tanks, more tanks, more tanks. That's kind of debatable whether I should do more tanks, because it is a big map, and Soviets kind of suck on the big maps. And you know, at the same time, I'm only Ukraine too, so tier 3 isn't going to help me any. You know, demo trucks aren't going to help me. Yaks sure would be good. Parabombs would kind of be pretty crappy. So, you know, without Tesla tank, my willingness to go tier 2 as Soviets is kind of less. Milkman's going to try to save his expansion there, but I have a pretty good angle, and his tank was way out of position. And I'm going to be able to deal with that army in the bottom and just turn around and hit that army on the top. I've also got that little flank on the bottom just to kind of apply pressure too, but I think I'm in a pretty good engagement in position now. Milkman hasn't really had any winning battles in a long time. He has just killed a Harv on another tank flank there, which is pretty good, but you know, I have 2 more rockets and a few more infantry up there, so he's I think he's run out of steam. And there's a Tesla coil there, but I have a huge army. I don't think he can deal with this. You know, I've even got the little small detachment up on a flank there. There it is. There's my 4 war factories, so achievement unlocked. 4 war factories in the game. You don't see that too often anymore at all. But there goes his tier 2, and he's going to lose that MSP shortly too, since he has pretty much no army left. Not sure if it's somewhere else in the map or if I just absolutely killed it, but Milkman is going to go ahead and call the GG there, so kind of a weird game. I honestly felt like I had trouble finding Milkman, even when I was properly scouting with blacks and everything. It seemed like I was not able to find his army, which is always frustrating as a player when you don't know where your army's at. That's when you surprise get hit in the back like he did there. Unfortunately, he didn't try to push in more. I think he could have got more had he done that. Yeah, it's just a testament to the map of how important scouting is, so maybe not favored the Soviets just because of that, but it is what it is, and we'll jump into the next games. Alright, so we're back here against my next opponent. It is going to be Ultralord, aka Upps, and we're going to play on Mega Tank's map, Bossman. I think Bossman is actually a super interesting map. Just the little naval added aspect throws in a lot of like monkey wrenches, just people starting builds and what they want to do. Obviously, this naval balance for RAGL did not have my balance on it, so it's not super balanced, and there's still the debate whether my naval balance is balanced or not, but that's alright. But yeah, you definitely need to at least build a transport out of your naval yard and go to the oil in the corner. There's 3 oil derricks there in the hospital, which is, you know, not important, but the 2 turrets in the pillbox there are just nice to keep it pretty safe until like tier 2 or stuff like that comes out. But just the amount of eco there is super important that you have. So you got to go engineer first here, and then there's a little crate there for you to get to. So capture that naval yard, get a transport out, and you get an extra power plant too, which is really nice. Because I have that extra power plant, it's going to make the quick tank build go even that much quicker. You know, just a full like 6 seconds quicker, which is, you know, maybe that's another medium tank out or another heavy tank out depending on what I am. This time I am allies again, so it's going to be more medium tanks, but I don't have to do the wrestle unless I want to like not build another power plant. I mean, I'll still eventually need that power plant because of the turn and the flip boxes down there if I keep all of them, but you know, I'll be able to save a little bit of time just with the extra power plant and not have to sell that ref too. So I'm gonna get your transport out and then instance off the naval yard. That's a very bold move. I think after this game, I kind of went back into Bossman and tried to do some mapping out of what is possible and what isn't possible. And gunboats are actually pretty nasty at dealing with engineers if you don't have them supported. Like, one medic will save your engineer, but you know, a gunboat will kill an engineer before it captures like a turret there if you go gunboat first. So it's very bold just to do engineer first there and have no supporting infantry at all. Even if Upps just decided he wants to send rifles over to my side, which, you know, he's kind of my base, but there's no guarantee that he's not sending over transport with rifles, and he could kill my engineer before he even gets the pillbox captured. But instead, he just sends a rifle into my base. I'm not sure why he was trying to scout so early. I mean, maybe if he sees that I don't have any infantry at all, that might change his build or something like that. But I'm going to get the turret and the pillbox already, so I'm going to be pretty safe from pretty much anything unless he managed to come all the way around on the top and drop troops there. But should be alright. War Factor's coming out. It's in a good position. Gonna get out those 2 light tanks and that ranger queued up. And then, since I'm going to start having a huge float right now, I can pretty much start queuing my infantry up. And, yeah, those old techs are so much money on this map. This map very much looks like Monopoly, which I think was a LAD map. I'm not sure what exactly inspired Mega Tank to make a map that is very similar in the ORA layout. But, I mean, that's alright. It still plays good. I do like this map, and I think it has some interesting stuff to it. Do decide to go ahead and sell that ref now instead of building that extra power plant, just because those turrets are super expensive on the power output, and I'd have to either sell a turret or that pillbox down there. I don't really want to do that, you know. It's if you sell those off, then it's just one boat can kill all those, and there's a good chance that your opponent built a gunboat. Other than that, just getting this infantry queued up, getting some medics in there because those are always good too, and yeah, just chilling on my base. You know, you got to be careful of like early gunboat harass. Then, you know, you can kill that power plant that can throw a wrench and stuff, and you're gonna be able to see that. And rocket soldiers do deal with gunboats really effectively, but there's not much else to do in this space, and not much else to do early in this game unless you're doing like a even quicker rush than I am. Maybe like my light tank rush would be actually pretty lethal, especially if people invested too much into gunboats. But moving out that main MCV, it's gonna deploy in just a few seconds there. And that'll give me just enough reach to get there and get those power plants and barracks crawling into that ref. That'll be nice and good. Medium tank's about to come out, and I'm gonna sell one of those turrets as I am low power, which is, I could have waited just the extra 3 seconds and it'd probably been alright, but you know, you don't really need all of those turrets down there, just 1 or 2, or just 1 end pillbox is probably enough. Scouting there, and I see that he's crawling there, which is kind of interesting. Since I did an MCV move out, he probably shouldn't have an MCV there already, which means he's probably done an MCV move out of sorts. I mean, that's fine. I'm just gonna scatter with Ranger, see his MCV cool. Just gonna poke away at that power plant. See that he's built a rocket soldier. And I'm like, cool. I'll just use my Ranger to kill your rocket soldier. That's fine. Seeing if I can draw his army away too from the backside, but He's got a bunch of light tanks there, and luckily I'm in a decent position with my tank, and he's gonna take a pretty bad engagement here, loses all his light tanks. I lose my light tanks coming through on the backside, but you know, I think I, at least took out his armor there, which is nice. Didn't kill so much of his infantry, but the amount of light tanks I saw definitely means he did something like an MCV move out, and he's still on just tier 1 tech. So, medium tanks are going to trade out much better against light tanks, and just doing the quick tank build anyways. I'm going to have more armor, which is going to help me with those light tanks. Going to get crushed less than them. I'm a little bit worried about doing something like Hav did, and he's going to flank me and try to get on my power plant, so I just sent a few rifles up there. Granted, my power plant's actually pretty safe on this map, whereas on the one against Cav, they were pretty exposed, but just going to rotate down to the bottom, and since he did an MC move out, I can go to his main base, but then I see a bunch of his army moving out. I said, cool, I was going to kill army when I could see it, and he instantly retreats too, which is a great sign. I'm just going to hunt that down as much as I can, and he's tried to retreat into his pillbox here, because that's his only armor source, but I have 4 medium tanks. That's quite a lot of armor for him to deal with. He doesn't have any more pillboxes, and all of his rockets go down right there, so yeah, that's pretty rough for him. It's not looking so good for him. Still got a few pillboxes in the north, but now his MCV is exposed. If he is on 1 MCV and I can kill this, then that's a pretty good sign. Goes ahead and tries to deploy, but again, 3 medium tanks and a few rockets are going to kill it. And I'm going to kill the Husk too, just to make sure that, he doesn't try to recover with Husk. Upps is pretty smart, and he will do that if he gets the opportunity, just like Bane will. But I kill the Husk, and then I still have enough in there to keep pushing, so yeah, he's in a pretty dire straits here. It's not looking super good for him, and I see his SD too, so yeah, if I can kill that pillbox and then focus on SD, then I'll pretty much have free reign to kill the SD, and if was his only MC, then he's definitely not going to be able to build another one now. Went ahead and sniped the power first, because again, that always slows down infantry queues or even the MCV build out. And then that SD dies. I'm going to go into his eco, kill a Rax is wise as well. It's a good time to kill a Rax when it's the only one there, and it'll stop reinforcements in out. But Upps was probably reinforcing his main base anyways. Same time, I'm getting up to tier 2, kind of waiting for a counterattack on my backside, but it doesn't really happen. So instead, I'm just probably going to deathball, get those tanks repaired, because why not? And yeah, after I get some of these harvesters better focused and get that helipad out, Upps will probably be pretty close to dead. I feel like I'm in a pretty decent position after pretty much smashing through his main base without too many losses at all, honestly. I'd be interested to see how much the armor craft difference was at this rate. Second helipad out, gotta always get at least 3 helipads. It's just more efficient for refueling, and anything more than that will start to cause like somebody problems, because the more production you have, the quicker your money drains, and you don't want to have too much of that, even with if you're just building Blackhawks occasionally, although I have 71 queued up, which is kind of crazy. Getting my army re-queued again. I'm still on 4 racks too, which is actually kind of crazy too. Actually, I might be on 3 racks, but check down to the bottom, see that Upps had not expanded there, so he definitely did not have a second MCV. So he's either did barely get a second MCV out, or he's just on no MC right now, so it just pretty much deathball right in front of his base again. Send all my stuff down there, so I'm not too worried about a counterattack, and I got the Blackhawk there, so I can scout exactly where I need to. And yeah, this next attack should be it for Upps. I don't think he can really defend it. See again that he does have a medium scout, so he did get another SD and another MCV out, but alright, I'm just gonna kill some of those Blackhawks, or his rockets. Lose the Blackhawk, that's alright. I have such an overwhelming army right now that I don't think Upps can stop this. He's gonna try to make a good defense here, but he's got 4 light tanks, he can get some good crushes, but they're just a little inactive, and my tanks are already on the crush move, so pretty much clean sweep there, and I don't think Upps can hold out, and again, says GG. Managed to get some infantry down there in the bottom corner, kill my engineer, but fortunately he was not focusing on the oil barracks, but that kind of shows you how important it is to actually keep all 3 of those defensive structures there, so you can't sneak on there. But yeah, game 1 goes to me pretty smoothly, and we'll jump into game 2. Alright, back here for game 2. This time we're going to be on Overlook. I spawned as Ukraine, which is not ideal on this map. I've said it once, I've said it twice, but I'm pretty sure I've said it 3 or 4 times. Soviets in this map, not that great. I don't think, mammoth tanks are going to be too slow to actually do the damage you want. You can't really rotate over with the mammoth tanks. Parabombs are going to be pretty bad since the map is super tall, and it's going to take forever for parabombs to actually get there. Obviously, if an army's near the edge of the map, that could be good, but I think there's just, in general, parabombs are kind of nerfed with the kind of modern meta that goes on with really big maps. The bigger eco maps do help parabombs a little bit, just because you're going to have bigger targets for them to hit, but at the same time, if they miss, then it's a bigger army you have to deal with, so Pair bombs are kind of in a weird spot. They're not really great, but they're not super bad either. They're just kind of even worse in like luck than a demo chuck. At least with the demo chuck, you can kind of like set up and bait somebody into them. Whereas pair bombs is like, if it's on the edge of the map, sure you can do that, but anywhere else it's like good luck. You know, a demo truck, if it's in the middle of the map, will still kill an army if you can get into position. It's just a matter of getting it there. But other than that, just gonna do a standard double ref this time. Quick tank on this map, like I said before. I don't think it works out too well, so just protecting my oil dirk right now. Don't want to lose it like I did against Milkman. I also don't want to try to push his oil dirk like I did against Milkman. That didn't work out so well for me last time, so just gonna, you know, send a few rifles out, see if I can capture that engineer any way. Gotta send my own rifles to protect my engineer at the top, and I just focus on getting the second ref down. Just gotta get it onto that nice and juicy aura. The fun thing about like aura, the way it works is if you always go to like the direct spots next to the mine, it'll only harvest twice, so it's more efficient that way. If those ore mines are closer to the ore refinery, then it's better off doing it than just letting the harvester go. But there's always like a funny little thing about trying to figure out which ore is the most efficient to mine in the early game. It's like some high-end math that I am not great at. I just kind of wing it and hope for the best. I'm sure there's people who are even better at it than me. But my philosophy is just kind of harvest around the ore mine and then maybe just a few more to clean it out efficiently if I want to, and then I'll just let it free fill there from there. After that, I usually have like 3 or 4 harves out, and it doesn't really matter too much anymore. But more factions come out. I'm not doing the ref cell this time. Probably gonna go for your MCV with this this double ref build. Just doing the 1 APC instead of APC and flak. And that's just because, you know, expanding quicker on this map is a little bit better. The expansions are kind of far apart, so it's important to actually get there. I don't want to get cut off from my expansions. But still doing my concrete wall on the back end, because why not? Although I don't really like that I'm going to the south and having a concrete wall. I think you'd be better off to go the other way, but you know, it is what it is. I don't think I'd play this map too often. I hadn't really like solidified the strategies as they had now at postseason. A little early on my infantry queue, but you know, I should be okay. Fortunately, did not kill his engineer down there, but that's alright. Just now getting my comm center too, which is kind of crazy, but I guess the engineer just takes that long to get there. And I got 4 hunters out, so I'm barely not stalling. So I guess my infantry macro is pretty on point, and as soon as I say that, of course I stall. So Caster's Curse or something like that, allegedly. Might as well send that engineer down to capture his oil direct again, because why not? You know, there's always a chance that he just leaves it unprotected, or just forgets about it since it is so far away in the corner. Plus I kill a scout there too, which is nice, so the chances of it being protected after those 2 scouts are very unlikely. Although, you know, if somebody is killing your scouts by your air deck, it's a good chance to keep an eye on it. Just keep your ranger parked there and wait for the engineer to show up, because it's likely to come. Got the MC rolling out at a decent time. It's going to be out just under like 4:30, which is not bad on a double ref time. I think it's pretty much standard. And just moving my army out to protect my expansion. At the same time, I'm just gonna make sure that nothing's coming in through the top, since that's where it's more likely to happen. If I have my army in the bottom, great. If he attacks there, that's fine. There's also just a chance that he goes for the shorter path, which is straight to the top of my base. More barracks coming out. 1 more barracks, and then MCV is coming out at 4:31, so just under par, I think, or just over par. But just gonna push this MCV and deploy that in barracks. That'll get that ref building a little bit quicker, and it also gives me a little bit more vision. That's out in the middle of nowhere, which is always nice too. Gives my infantry a little bit shorter path to reinforce as well. Engineer is just about to get to that oil derrick, and decide to send some rockets to the back end, see if I can harass his gem mine too. That's always a nice thing to do. Just send like 2 or 3. You know, 3 is maybe a little bit much, 2 and a rifle would be good, but there's a rifle there, so the immediate dies, that's probably gonna cue me to either send that APC down to kill that rifle again to protect my rockets, or something else. But unfortunately, Upps is scouting really well with his ranger, gets 2 rockets for free, so that kind of sucks. So that changes my plan a little bit. I'll just have to death ball with this army and try to push him off that way. Killing another rifle scout for his, so that's, you know, that's always good. Although he did kill 2 of my rockets for free, so I have about 500 or more in rifle scouts that I got killed even up there, but gonna move that MC out too, if I can, just because again, you need to expand more often than you really want to on this map. That jet mine is a false sense of security, I feel like, and your one ore patch is pretty bad. Upps, looks like he tried to drop an engineer there, and I just barely missed it. Or I got lucky that I moved my MC away, but probably would have been better off killing an engineer had I saw it, but I don't think I actually saw that in game. Got a few rifles down there to chase off the ranger too, that's fine. And then I'm sending the secondary army up to the top, so I'm very heavily split right now, which is always very dangerous. It kind of comes down to who attacks first will generally win those engagements, but it also comes down to like angle too. You can't just have a bad attack, it has to be good. And your opponent has to feel threatened to respond to it, so if you attack right into his defenses, then you'll just lose that army, and then he'll be able to rotate over to the other side and kill your second army, and you'll just be super down on your army macro. Also got like a weird refill where I'm sitting in the middle. Again, as Soviets, it kind of sucks that I can't really respond to either side. I see that Upps is quickly expanded to my side too, which is kind of crazy, so that army's going to go back and try to hunt that ore. Killing another rifle scout, which is alright, but kind of lets him know that I'm attacking on the backside. Getting up to tier 2, which is nice, and that ranger is probably going to see it right there. And unfortunately right here, my infantry is conga lining, and there is multiple pillboxes. I try to go in with APC and see what there actually is, and there's just quite a lot. And again, that heavy tank was just stuck in the back, so that attack's going to go pretty bad. And at the same time, Upps is capturing my MC, which is not great, so I got the low power. And I didn't notice in the game, but I didn't have any army next to my MCV, so when I try to just, select somebody to kill the engineer, I accidentally selected all my harvesters and sent them all to my death. So, yeah, that kind of pissed me off, because I thought that my harvester had jumped over to my gem mine, and he just killed all my harvesters on my ore patch. But fortunately, it was just my own mistake of me being incredibly stupid. So after the game, when I looked at that, I was less salty, but I got pretty salty about that in the game, because harvesters jumping over onto different mines is something of a pet peeve of mine, I could say. But yeah, he really didn't do a whole lot of damage there, honestly. If I don't lose my 3 harvesters, I'm probably in a much better shape than I would be, but now I am down 50% of eco just because of my own stupidity. So here's my selfishness of thinking that my harvester was over on mine somehow, but like I said, unfortunately it was not. It was just my own stupidity. So probably the dumbest mistake that I've actually willingly, or not willingly, but unknowingly made. That's losing 3 harvesters again, 50% of your eco because of a bad select command is probably one of the rougher things that I've ever done. Upps is pretty smart too. He pulled his army out after he killed all my harvesters, and he's got mechanics too, so he's preparing up them. I got a pretty big army right there, so I'm not too scared of fighting into him, but especially if I catch this medium tank out and pretty much instantly kill it. But Upps has a lot of army right here, way more than I had. So this attack is not going to go very well at all. That is a lot of infantry. Pretty much triple mine. So, I'm not taking a terrible engagement here, honestly, but at the same time, that's basically 2 engagements that I've lost all my army for, and I'm down to 2 medium tanks and a handful of infantry again. And I'm also, in this weird position where I can't really expand again, because, hey, guess what? There's no medium tanks on my bottom, so, yeah. Upps has a huge army lead, and there's not much I can do about it, so my only option to get back in this game is, once again, to kind of transition to tier 3. And since I am Ukraine, my only bet really is a demo truck, and that's going to be my goal. But if Upps plays it smart, demo trucks are not that hard to deal with. I'm super struggling for eco. I've had a reestablished eco on my main base rather than expand again, which is never a good thing. And I'm trying to just, keep the pressure off me and keep attacking, which is also probably a poor idea. I'm sending a little bit too much. Maybe if I send 1 tank and a few rocks, something like that, to harvester hunt, that'd be a way back into it. But pretty much sending more than half my army just to go all the way across the map is not great. And again, as Soviets, it's going to take forever to get there. So Upps has a scout in the middle. He sees that, so he's going to be able to rotate back with an army that's sitting on the top right of the map. I kind of expected him to attack in the same area again, so that's kind of why I'm rallying everything there. But again, Upps sends some army back and sees me, so I have to reposition all my stuff again, and he's going to be well aware of that. But because he's going to see me there, and I know he's going to pull the army from the top right away, I'll try to attack him the top right with my other army. And see, again, a bunch of his army there, no tanks in the front, so I'll go ahead and take that engagement if I can, and that is quite a lot of infantry again, but at least this time I got tank support, so he pulls away right into pillbox, so I'm like, alright, well, I can't chase that down. I'd really like to. But tier 3 is going to be out, so it's time to get that demo truck queued up. And I'm hoping that I can just capture some of his harvesters on the backside, kill him, maybe kill that ref too. But unfortunately, he's got a pillbox there, and it's going to whittle away a lot of my infantry too. So I'm going to have to focus that down first. His harvesters are going to get away. I'm going to kill a ref, which is basically a consolation prize. I'd rather kill the harvesters. Although I do get a free Blackhawk, so that's nice, but it does tell me that he's at tier 2, which is not great for me. I really need him to be at tier 1.5 still. This tier 2 is going to help him spot the demo truck that much better. Army on the backside is getting caught. Medium or the heavy tank was kind of out of position. Not much I can do there, but his harvesters even come back into tank, and I lose all that army for pretty much nothing. So, yeah, that's not great. Got to get that tank on the back. Just maybe I can hope he's going to get something on the gem mine. But I am going to attack him here and get a harvester, so that's nice. And I know that army's out of position, so I'm going to go ahead and push in here if I can. There's 2 pillboxes I got to focus on first. Let's see, there's tier 2 too, which is nice. And then here Tanya, which is not great at all. Fortunately for me, she's not right there coming out of the barracks, but his army did get back in time because of those pillboxes, and I'm going to lose this army again. So, yeah, I don't think I've really won an engagement this game. This is all been ups, and I'm pretty much on the back foot. Built that airfield literally just so I could get the herd bombs cooking down, 5 minutes maybe. That's my other Hail Mary if this demo truck doesn't work, which, again, now I'm stalling because I don't have the eco. Just now trying to expand again, and Upps is on the backside. That's alright, I got an army there, I should be okay. The demo truck is out in like 10 seconds, that's good. And then probably my second dumbest mistake, somehow I force fired there, and I'm not sure how. But in the heat of the moment, I saw the force fire and the attack move order looked very similar to Shades of Red. So I was very confused about why they were target firing the ground until I figured it out. So yeah, a lot of just dumb mistakes on my part, and Upps is playing super well to my credit, making me make these errors. So I'm in a really bad position here. I lost another harvester once again. I'm down to like 4 harves. 1 harv is currently long distance mining since I don't have a ref ready. But here is my one shot back in this game. If I can get this demo to land on this huge army, then maybe there's a chance. But unfortunately for me, Upps' meter tanks got pretty far ahead of him, so I had to detonate earlier than I wanted to. And yeah, I don't think I can shade off more than a third of his army. Plus there's Blackhawks coming in, so yeah, it's really not looking good for me. He's gonna kill my tier 3, so there goes any chance of a secondary demo truck coming out. And yeah, that ref's kind of spots that there's still a huge amount of army there. So I do have IC coming up in maybe about a minute, and I have pair bombs in 3.5. But again, getting salty because I thought the harvesters were jumping across, but again, he just killed my ref. So I'm pretty mad at this game. I see that Upps has an MCV there too, so he's doing all the right things, pushing on me. And this game's pretty ugly for my end. I still don't have a ref on the expansion, and I've been down there for pretty much the whole game. Trying to rally those troops around so they don't go right into the pillboxes, but this game's pretty much over. Upps' base pushed me on the bottom too, and I don't have enough to stop it. There's also Raider down there too, so I just go ahead and GG out. This game is over. Upps played incredibly well. I don't know how he expanded so fast towards my expansion on the top, unless he went to the single mine first. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I felt like he was over there extremely quickly. But yeah, Upps played really well. I played pretty bad. I think Upps just straight out outplayed me. And then yeah, those 2 harvester mistakes definitely pissed me off, and I had to go back after the game and figure out what happened. That's when I was like, oh, god damn it. That's a pretty embarrassing mistake to make, especially when you think that it wasn't even your fault, and you have to go back and watch it and realize that you're just being a retard. So that's Black in 2023 when you're just being a retard. I'll see y'all next week.